All right, everyone. Pastor Dave. It is July 31st, 2012. Well, it's happened again for the second time. Yesterday, I reported northern India. The power grids went down. 300 million people were out of power. It happened again today on Tuesday. 620 million without power in a larger outage. Before I bring you this story, I'm going to put the link below in the Show More section. Michigan, where I'm from, mid-Michigan, thousands of people are out of power. The power grids went down, overload from the excessive heat that we are using. I guess people are just using too much electricity, too much energy with their central air and their window air conditioners. So we have thousands of people out of power in Michigan. In Pakistan, major power grid down, and they have taken to the street in anger. I'll bring you that story in just one moment. July 31st, 2012, New Delhi, India suffered its second huge crippling power failure in 2 days on Tuesday, depriving as much as half of the vast and populous country of electricity and disrupting transport networks. The first power grid collapse on Monday, which that's what I reported to you, was the country's worst blackout in a decade. It affected 7 states in northern India that are home to more than 350 million people. But today's failure was even larger, hitting eastern and northeastern areas as well. Both blackouts cut power to the Indian capital, New Delhi. The power companies that operate the affected electricity grids reported the collapse Tuesday on their websites. With about 1.2 billion people, India has the second highest population of any country behind China. At least 300 trains have been held up in the affected region, said Anil Kumar Saxena, a spokesman for Indian Railways. The 2 consecutive days of disruption are embarrassing for India, a nation growing in international stature and the third largest Asian economy. The power company said they were working to restore the power supply. It was not immediately clear whether the blackouts were partial or total in the different regions. The grid failures on Monday struck in the early morning hours. Residents spent the rest of the night drenched in sweat amid humid weather, and many backup power systems had run out by daybreak. Power was partially restored after about 6 hours, authorities said. The blackout left passengers stranded at train stations, and signal failures caused traffic snarls that choked the Indian capital's already congested roads during office hours. Indians, however, have been no stranger to power cuts, which become more common during the summer when demand shoots up. And that's from Extinction Protocol 2012, CNN news coverage. Now, storms cause widespread power failure across Pakistan. Protests against outages turned violent today, July 31st, 2012, Pakistan. Prolonged and widespread power outages in most of Pakistan's cities during scorching summer heat has triggered violent protests in most areas of the country. Coupled with hot and humid summer weather, the prolonged blackouts have forced outraged citizens to take to the streets to protest the tough living conditions. The protests turned violent as some of the angry protesters reportedly attacked officers of the power supply department in Punjab and Khyber. I can't pronounce the rest of that word, but you'll have the link. Damaging official and private properties. Offices of PEPCO, the Pakistan Electric Power Company, were also attacked in Islamabad, Abbottabad, Trizabad, Orkara, Motra, Mandi, Bathudin, and I will put the link below. There's some pretty tough, tongue-twisting words there. And many of them were reportedly set ablaze. No loss of life was reported, but the roads were blocked till late night. Reports indicate that in some areas people face 12 to 14 hours of rolling blackouts, while the rural residents suffer up to 18 hours of power outage. On Friday, a power storm hit some of the country's power plants, including one of Kashmir's nuclear power plants and 3 other plants, causing them to go fully or partially offline. I was wondering about with these power grids going down and these blackouts, and in India, 600 million people out of power. What about the power plants? What about the nuclear plants? In the meantime, Information Minister Zamar Kara deflected the blame for the angry protests, saying they have been caused by political maneuvering of the PML-and Pakistan Muslim League rather than the prolonged outages. Pakistan's lack of around 5,000 megawatts of electrical power has forced the government to implement a rolling blackout policy in a bid to prevent a total blackout. And that's from Press TV. Let's see what else we have going on in the world today. We have a video here. Let me see. Let's play this video. We're going back now to the story coming out of India with, let's double check. 620 million people out of power. Then we're going to talk about the droughts that we're facing.
It is at least 10 states that have been hit because of this massive power grid collapse. It's the same line. In fact, it is the Agra-Gwalior transmission line which has failed for 2 days in a row, and now the West Bengal power minister telling us just a few minutes back that power will be restored, at least in West Bengal or in that area, only by this evening. Right now, the entire northern and eastern grid collapsed. The metro, of course, in the capital halted, but that's not the only one. Trains across this area have been halted. Reports of at least 150 trains being halted across in and around New Delhi itself. But that's not it. We're also seeing now reports coming in from all across the country. Nearly 50% of India, for all practical purposes, is without power at this point. Here are just some updates we're getting right now. Bengal, Bihar, Jammu, Rajasthan, UP, Srinagar, Delhi, Haryana, Himachal, all without power at this point. Now, of course, we have our correspondents standing by who are giving us the latest information on what is happening. Now, we have all of them here. Shamsher Khan, of course, from Chandigarh, Pranshu, and Lucknow, Mir Farid, there from Srinagar. I'm going to come to you, Pranshu. Tell us what the current situation is. Of course, trains as well halted.
Well, can you repeat your question, please?
Yes, Pranshu, we wanted the update there coming in from Uttar Pradesh.
Well, see, the update coming in from Uttar Pradesh is that yesterday itself we have seen this grid collapsing somewhere in between on the transmission line between Agra and Gwalior. We have also seen the fallout that the CMD of the Power Corporation was shifted late night yesterday. But here again today we see the similar snag developing in a portion somewhere near Agra, and that has resulted into this major power collapse. Now, initially when this grid collapse took place at around 1:05 p.m. this afternoon, initially there were these efforts to somehow restore the situation, somehow to maintain the situation, but then those frenetic efforts at the last moment did not pay dividends, and the entire grid collapsed. Slowly the entire grid collapsed. Now what we are getting in from the engineers of the Power Corporation is that after grid getting collapsed, the biggest challenge now is that in most of the production units, the production has almost dipped to zero. So that means the power generation units across the state, they have almost become non-functional at the moment. So
here at the big picture, how massive in fact this grid failure is all across north and eastern India, starting all the way there from Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab, Haryana, parts of Rajasthan. We saw this happening yesterday as well. It took about 8 to 10 hours yesterday for the entire grid collapse to be restored. But today it's the eastern grid as well. So we have Bihar, West Bengal, Odisha, Jharkhand hit. This large swath of northern and eastern India, for all practical purposes, left powerless. The big hit, of course, first on trains which are stranded across this belt right now at various portions within the city. Traffic signals have stopped because of no power, so the traffic situation has become a nightmare in busy areas in parts of the city. So that is definitely a big problem being faced right now in the city areas. As far as the interiors are concerned, we saw yesterday also some cases of medical services definitely being hit, essential services.
There you have it. Power outages, power grids gone down mid-Michigan, thousands of people without power, Pakistan without power, and they have taken to the streets in riot and protest, and 620 million in India after yesterday's 300 million plus that lost power. Now it happened again on Tuesday, July 31st. Now 620 million people in India without power. What's going on in our solar system? What's happening to the sun? And is all of the United States, are we next? And are we ready in case of such an emergency? Leave me comments, everyone.